Fox Sports.
We are Detroit.
Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by
Bell Tire.
One of the last guys the Cleveland Indians want to see these days is Maglio Ordonez with 2 more hits in the series opener. Ordonez now hitting .405 against the Tribe since the start of the 2009 season. Today the Tigers hope his hot bat will carry them to a win this afternoon right here in Cleveland. Welcome to Progressive Field as we get you ready for baseball this afternoon. Game 2 of this 4-game series featuring the Tigers and the Cleveland Indians. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pemba, Rod Allen, glad to have you with us. The first of a double dip here this afternoon, and we have a great pitching matchup in Game 1 of the doubleheader. Fausto Carmona goes for the Indians. Justin Verlander, Rod, goes for the Tigers. What a first half it was for him. Really an all-star first half.
Well, Verlander's one of those guys that when he shows up at the ballpark, if he has his good stuff, it's going to be an off day for your hitters, and that's usually the case with Verlander. When you're talking about a guy that has four above-average pitches, he's got a great fastball, an exceptional curveball, very good changeup, and he's added a slider that he has a lot of confidence in these days. And you add the fact that he has absolutely dominated this Cleveland Indians team his last 6 starts. It could be a long, long day for their hitters, as it is for most hitters when JB's on the rubber.
All right, now the Tigers are hopeful that Verlander will have a big second half. Now, all indications are that in the past he was, so they expect that in the second half he'll be good again this year.
You know, he's kind of learned how to pitch. You go all the way back to 2006, the numbers don't look all that glamorous, but last year, post All-Star break, he was stellar, and he's continuing to mature, continuing to get better. He's learned how to maintain his strength during the course of the regular season, and that's why his numbers are very good after the All-Star break.
All right, long day of baseball here this afternoon, the first of 2. Glad to have you with us, and right now we send it back to the Call Sam Studios with more on our coverage. Here's Ryan Field. On Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank, strength and stability since 1849. And by Comcast, call 1-800-COMCAST for TV, phone, and internet. Back here in Cleveland on a beautiful day for baseball. We're going to play two today. One here this afternoon, one a little bit later on tonight. If the Tigers combine for 3 or more home runs in this game, bring a copy of the box score to a participating Arby's location tomorrow and get yourself a free small order of curly fries. Here's the starting lineup in Game 1 of the doubleheader for the Tigers, brought to you by Big Boy. Austin Jackson leads it off. He'll play in center field, followed by Johnny Damon and then Maglio Ordonez. Cabrera cleaning up again today. Bosch is hitting right behind him in left field, followed by Guillen, Brandon Inge, Alex Sevilla, and Ramon Santiago round out the Tigers' starting 9. The Bernstein advantage brings you the scouting report. On Fausto Carmona, get the Bernstein advantage. We go to bat for you.
Well, Fausto was their only all-star this year, which means he's having an outstanding year. 1 game over 500, but the earned run average is very, very good. And kind of under the radar in that ball game on June 2nd when Galarraga threw the near-perfect game, it was Carmona who pitched very well for the Tribe. And you talk to most hitters that face him, throws a real heavy sinker ball in the mid-90s. It's a heavy, heavy baseball. Let's take a look at the defensive alignment by Manny Acta for his ball club. Shelly Duncan's in right, his 3rd start in right field since being recalled. The infield reads as it read last night with Marte, McDonald, Nix, Laporta, and Santana. The Phenom is back behind the plate catching Carmona these days. Mike Redmond was the personal catcher of Carmona when the season started, but Redmond has since been released by the Cleveland Indians.
It's been an all-star first half for Fausto Carmona. This will be his first start of the second half, and he is ready to go to work here this afternoon facing Austin Jackson, Johnny Damon, and Maglio Ordonez. The Tigers lost the opening game in the series last night. And here we go. The first game of the doubleheader is underway. It's a ball inside to Austin Jackson.
It's the beauty of baseball. And you can kind of get that taste of last night's game out of your mouth, and it wasn't a good game for the Tigers. And you can look forward to today at having a positive day.
Not a good game last night, but Austin Jackson did do his part. He was 2 for 4, including a triple in the ball game last night. Carmona's 1-1 is hammered to right field, and there's a leadoff single. So Jackson's 3rd hit already in the series.
And one of the things that Austin Jackson has learned how to do in the major leagues, and that's take an inside fastball, pull his hands in close to the body, and inside out the ball the opposite way. And he has done a lot of that this year. 30 hits the opposite way for Jackson, and that's how you hit 300 and above.
Here's Johnny Damon now. See if he can get him moved up.
Well, Jackson can move himself up. He can steal a lot of bases, and Carmona does not hold runners very well. Although the kid Santana did show us last night, he's got a powerful, rocket for a throwing arm.
Johnny, the designated hitter, has hit safely in 6 in a row. He pops this one up. Left side of the infield for Marte. 1 gone.
They say that Carmona obviously is pitching with a lot more confidence these days. He's working ahead, which has allowed him to get to a very good changeup, to get some left-handers out. He's got a good slider, got a really good sinker ball. Yeah, but most people say it's his confidence that's back that he had in 2007.
Here's Maglio Ordonez. Maglio 2 out of 4 in last night's opener, batting .315. And a double in last night's game. Bouncing ball 3rd base side, just foul outside of the bag. That'll send Jackson back to first base. Austin 15 out of 18 this year in stolen base opportunities. And he really has been, really the only legitimate stolen base threat the Tigers have had. I know Johnny Damon's had a few. He's had 7, but a good test if he decides to run for Carlos Santana. Driven to right field. It is sinking. On the move is Duncan, diving with a catch. Shelly Duncan in right field. A highlight play early on in this one.
That could turn out to be the play of the game, because obviously if this ball lands in the outfield, Jackson scores from first base, and Maglio is at least standing on second. Only the 3rd start in right field by Duncan, and makes a tremendous play.
There's Cabrera now with 2 away. Maglio had an extra base hit taken away, and more than likely an RBI. Well, it's been quite a stretch for Cabrera. 20-game hitting streak. And he extended it with a single to drive in a run at his first at bat in the ball game last night.
He clobbers Carmona as well. And Carmona, one of those guys that tries to overpower Cabrera, and he usually loses that battle.
(1-0) backs him out of there. Cabrera has 3 career home runs against Carmona. This was back on June 2nd.
That was a game where Galarraga opposed Carmona and threw the near perfect game.
Fouled away. I remember on that night saying, you know what, for what Galarraga's doing tonight, lost in this whole shuffle is Carmona. He pitched an outstanding ball game that night.
He is looking more and more like the Carmona of 2007, where he won 19 games and lost 8. And of course, the Indians almost got to the World Series that year. He was dominant that season.
Runner going and a wave and a miss. Here comes the throw. It's going to be off target. Nice stop down there. Otherwise, the ball goes into center field. Jason Donald with a nice play.
It's a really good jump by Jackson, and just a matter of time before he decided to exploit that weakness of Carmona. He does not hold runners very well. Outstanding jump, and as a catcher, when you see the base runner get this type of jump, you rush your throw down to second base, and usually when you rush your throw, it tails to the second base side of the bag.
And that was actually Jason Nix covering down there, not Donald, the second baseman, taking the throw. So make it 16 steals now for Jackson. And these have been the situations in which Cabrera has really excelled in this year.
We talked about Santana last night in the fact that he has a very strong arm but very slow feet right now. Once they quicken up his feet and shorten up his throwing time down to second base, it's going to be almost impossible for guys to steal bases off of his very strong throwing arm.
Cabrera, meanwhile, comes in at .360 with men in scoring position this season.
Most of Cabrera's damage, at least from an RBI standpoint as well, has been done away from Comerica Park. 43 RBIs away from Detroit.
And that encompasses just 40 road games. So more than 1 RBI per road game this year. And Carmona stays away from him this time with first base open, and Cabrera gets a walk.
That may be the biggest difference in Carmona's season this year versus the last couple of years, is the fact that he would have gone after Cabrera there in recent memory. But with the base open and the damage that Cabrera is doing this year, why challenge him?
So he'll take his chances now against Brendan Bosch, who is the Tigers left fielder.
He's no day at the beach.
Bosch now has driven in 50 runs this year. He knocked in 1 last night, and he has another opportunity here today to drive in some runs.
He likes that first pitch.
Carmona missing outside, 1-0. Fausto is 26 years of age out of Santo Domingo. Cut and a miss by Bosch. 1-1.
Real nice changeup by Carmona.
American League rookie's highest slugging percentage since 1976 before the All-Star break. McGuire leads that list. How about Mac Noakes? He's on that list as well.
Big Bob Hamlin, too.
2 balls, 1 strike on Bosch. Tigers in last night's opener able to jump out to a 1-0 lead in that first inning. Eventually lost the game 8-2, however. And that's low and away. 3-1. So Carmona now painting himself into a bit of a corner here. He's got Guillen waiting on deck to switch hitter.
As good as Carmona has been this year, most pitchers are not good in this count unless he decides to throw another changeup here to Bosch. I doubt very seriously if he'll be able to throw a fastball by Brennan in this count.
Ooh, swing and a miss.
What a great pitch. I'm not sure if that was the slider or the changeup.
Had some changeup action on it.
It was a tremendous pitch.
3-2, which means the runners will be on the move here. And that bounces in and away from Santana. And Jackson will think about it, but hold up at third base. They are loaded up now for Guillen.
Three fastballs to Brennan Bosch, and you can see the grip in his glove. The changeup grip, a circle change, and he misses with the last one. Good plate discipline here by the youngster, Brennan Bosch.
So now it's Guillen who will try and come through with the 2-out hit here. He has 3 career grand slams. He's over 400 with the bases loaded career. And Carlos right now trying to snap an 0 for 9. This would be the perfect spot. Jackson and Cabrera and Bosch on the bases. And strike one on Guillen. Carlos not a whole lot of success against Carmona. Has homered against him, but only a 200 batting average. Bouncing ball right back up the middle, and that ball will get through. A base hit. Jackson scores. Cabrera comes around to score. Bosch will get to third. A clutch 2-out knock for Carlos Guillen.
We talk about the fact that everything starts with the big fella, Miguel Cabrera. Carmona wisely put him on base because he had a parking spot for him with Jackson in scoring position and the base open. And you can take a look at this ball right back up the middle because Nix, the second baseman, is playing all way over in the hole. He goes over for it. He can't get to it. The ball trickles into the outfield.
So a good start today for Detroit and for Guillen, and even 30 RBIs on the year.
Not to be lost was the at-bat that Brennan Bosch had as well.
Inge drives one to the gap in left center field. It's down. It gets to the wall. Bosch will come around to score. Here's Guillen coming to third. They're going to wave him home. The throw coming to the plate. There's a play, and he is out at home plate. And a good block by Santana, and Guillen is cut down. Inge will get an RBI. Tigers have a big inning, though. Despite the throw out at home plate, it's 3-0 Detroit.
And that's what you do when you have a very young team. And it kind of came into play here on the ball hit into the gap by Brandon Inge. Take a look at the perfect relay here. It goes into left field. Crow, he picks the ball up. He gets the ball to Donald, but watch Donald, the shortstop. He's starting to get his feet set before he gets the ball into his glove, therefore makes a strong throw home and a very nice block by the youngster, Santana. Carlos never got to the plate because of the left leg here. It's a nice block by the youngster. Perfectly executed rundown play by the Cleveland Indians.
So big inning for the Tigers, and they give their ace, Justin Verlander, a 3-0 advantage as we go to the bottom of the first inning. Michael Brantley will lead it off for Cleveland.
I said rundown play, but that was a relay play. Excuse me.
Brantley hitting just a .123, had a hit in the ball game last night, 1 for 5. And that snapped an 0 for 21 that Brantley was struggling with.
Decent numbers against Verlander, coming in 3 for 7. Very small sampling, but still very good numbers against Justin.
Here's the 1-1. Tried to hold up, couldn't do it. Up with the right hand goes Jerry Lane at third base today.
You got no problem with Geno sending Guillen home there, do you?
Absolutely not.
Neither do I.
Nope.
Neither do I.
And you got to give Santana some credit. Did a nice job of blocking the plate.
All the way around, they did a very nice job.
You make them make 2 throws and a block, and you take your chances.
You already got 2 runs in the bank, too. 3, actually.
2-2. And Brantley, Nixon, then Santana to follow. First of 2 here this afternoon. Tigers coming into play today with a record of 48-39. In the air to center field, Jackson is on the move. And he's there for the out, 1 gone. Here's the rest of the lineup for the Cleveland Indians. It is brought to you by Honda Bloomfield. You saw the leadoff man Brantley, then it's Nixon, Santana. Hafner will follow, followed by Laporta. Shelley Duncan getting the start in right. Crow, Marte, and Jason Donald are your bottom 3 today. The scouting report on Justin Verlander, presented by Ace Hardware.
Well, his last 6 starts against the Tribe, he has been simply dominant against them. They have not beaten him, and he's beaten them 5 times. And, well, you're the ace. You're the big gun. You may as well lead by example after a very difficult loss by your ball club last night. Go out and get yourself a W today.
And Verlander this year, following a Tigers loss, is 6-1.
That's pretty good.
So I guess when you are the ace, that's another thing that is expected of you.
It's a long night for Nix last night against Scherzer. He could not hit that fastball, nor could he hit that slider. And it could be another long night for him as well, because Verlander's secondary pitches are tremendous.
Scherzer struck out Nix 3 times in yesterday's game. Max going 5, striking out 7 total.
That last pitch was a slider by Verlander, and he's starting to get a lot more comfortable throwing that slider, anywhere from 88 to 89 miles an hour. And I guess he took a page out of Scherzer's book, because that's exactly what Scherzer was featuring the majority of the time in last night's game to Nix.
He'll go foul down the third base line. 1-2 on Jason Nix, batting .204, 1 for his last 15 at bats.
Verlander got a little tune-up for this start, of course, pitching on Tuesday night in Anaheim, the All-Star game. Had to pitch out of a little bit of stress, but he got out of it.
The 1-2.
Did you watch much of the All-Star game?
Yeah, I watched the whole thing, actually. It's the first strikeout for Verlander.
Let's take a look at the Tigers defensively. They're always presented by Beaumont Hospital. You've got Bosch, Jackson, Ordonez in the outfield. You've got Inge, you've got Santiago, Guillen, Cabrera in the infield. Avila is back behind the plate for the 2nd consecutive day.
So Verlander now will face Carlos Santana. And speaking of the All-Star game, I meant to ask Justin how big of an adjustment it is pitching out of the bullpen in an All-Star situation as opposed to starting, because it is something obviously that he just doesn't do.
No, he doesn't.
But then I realized he's pitching today, and I better not approach him or he might lop my head off. And that's just the way Justin is on game days.
No, he don't talk on game day.
Not at all. Here's the 0-1 pitch.
Did Verlander get an inning in the 09 All-Star game as well, when all those powerful right-handers went out there and blew away the National League guys?
I think he did.
I think he pitched 1 inning as well with Jackson and Greinke and some of the other guys that the American League ran against the National League.
I remember Jackson's inning. 2-1 on Santana, the bright rookie that they are counting heavily on in their future. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Swing and a miss.
Santana has already shown us a few of his tools. He's shown some real nice plate discipline. He's shown us a good arm. He blocked the plate. But he hadn't seen many changeups like this changeup, especially in a 2-1 count.
The 2-2 pitch. Verlander did not throw in the 09 game. He did throw an inning in the 07 game at San Francisco. 3-2 on Carlos Santana. That'll find the seats. And plenty of them are available here for the day game, the makeup game of a rainout that happened earlier this year. And that was one of those nights where if you were doing well, you hated to see the rain come. And if you were getting hammered as a pitcher, you were glad to see the rain come because it washed away all the numbers on that night. 3-2 pitch is fouled away again. That was back on the 7th of May. I might recall that was the game that Jeremy Bonderman started, and he was one guy that was happy to see the numbers go by the wayside. 3-2 on Santana. And he got him. Strike 3. Verlander carves up the Indians in the first inning.
Ooh, what a pitch.
1, 2, 3 they go. A pair of strikeouts. Santana gone.
Play better. I mean, we got to play better in all phases. You know, we were sloppy defensively. We were sloppy on the bases. The pitching wasn't good. We didn't hit good. We didn't manage good. We didn't do anything good. You know, we're all in this together. So, I'm very disappointed. You know, we're just terribly sluggish.
You get the feeling the skipper was not happy with last night's performance?
I do get that feeling. But his team has shown up here today in the very first inning against Carmona. They put a 3 spot on the board against him, which is not an easy thing to do.
Yeah, they looked anything but sluggish in that first inning. Alex Avila leading off the second here. The Tigers on top 3-0 in this one. Avila, then Santiago, and then Austin Jackson. The 1-1. 2 balls and 1 strike on Avila, batting .218. He was hitless in last night's opener. And Carmona missing again, so as he did a few times in that first inning, he has fallen behind 3-1. Carmona walked a couple of batters, gave up a couple of hits, actually 3 hits in that first frame. And there's another walk. Leadoff man on.
For whatever reason, the Tigers just have not been all that good on the road. They come in 10 games under, and you take a look at the numbers at Comerica Park. They're very good, but away from Comerica Park, they just have not gotten it done. But we still have a lot of baseball to be played here in the second half of the season.
Here's Santiago.
It's a good count to put a runner in motion here if you're Jim. Carmona does throw lots of ground balls when he's going well, and Santiago is one of those guys that can really handle the bat. And Carmona's kind of giving you the count to do something if you would like to do something. Avila not a base stealer, and you'd love to stay out of a double play and keep putting pressure on this Indians team.
18 double plays induced. Carmona trying to battle back from that rocky first inning. The 1-1. That's in the air to center. Brantley cruising back. The first out of the inning.
Hey fans, the Tigers rock, and you can too with a new Rockin' 7-game ticket package. Pick any 7 games and get a free concert ticket for the show of your choice at Soundboard inside the Motor City Casino Hotel. For tickets, call 313-471-BALL or visit tigers.com.
There's the top of the order now. Austin Jackson. He's singled to start the game. Jackson now is 3 for 5 in the series and has 97 hits, so he's approaching the 100 marker in his rookie campaign. One ball and 1 strike. And Jackson now has hit safely in 16 of his last 18. And you look at the numbers for the rest of the rookies, and nobody can touch both Bosch and Jackson. What a duo they have been in their first years. Everybody expected a lot out of Austin Jackson. He, of course, came in with the high press clippings and also was taking over for a very popular player in Curtis Granderson. It was Bosch that just kind of came out of nowhere. But they both have done it and done it really well at this level. 2-1. And Carmona continues to pitch from behind. 3 balls and 1 strike. Fausto was an all-star this year, the Indians representative in Anaheim. In fact, the first thing he did when it was announced that he was going to the all-star game is he called up a fellow by the name of Julio Rangel, who was the mental skills coach with the Cleveland Indians. And it was Rangel who a couple of years ago, when Carmona was really, really scuffling, straightened him out, or helped to straighten him out, at least for the mental side of the game. And Carmona appreciated what he did so much for him that he took him to the all-star game.
Good for him.
Ground ball left side. Marte to second one. A relay. There's a double play, and Carmona induces his 19th double play of the season, the most in the American League. First inning here this afternoon, they lead 3-0 over the Indians. And by the way, a reminder, this game is available in crystal clear high definition on Fox Sports Detroit HD, sponsored by Comcast. Beautiful day today. In fact, 86 degrees was our game time temperature here in Cleveland. The first of two here at Progressive Field. Day game, night game, doubleheader. These two teams make up an earlier rainout. And then, of course, the series finale happening here tomorrow afternoon as well. Travis Hafner will lead things off for the Indians. It was a snappy 1-2-3 inning for Verlander in the first. He struck out a couple of batters as well. Hafner batting .250. He's hit 8 home runs this year. And he's knocked in 30. As Verlander misses outside, 1-0. Travis, one of the guys that had a 3-run homer washed away in the game that was rained out between these two teams. And in a season where it really hasn't gone all that well, that 3-run shot that was wiped out had to hurt. Two and one on Hafner. A couple of home runs career against Verlander. He's had a pretty large sampling, 36 at bats and a .306 lifetime batting average against the Tigers right-hander. Verlander, however, career against the Indians sub .500. He's 9-10. We get back out of play again. Two and two on Travis Hafner. 2 for 3 with an RBI in last night's opener. Line to right field, straight at Maglio Ordonez. One gone, 4 up, 4 down against the right-hander.
Justin Verlander made his major league debut right here in Cleveland against this Indians team. Obviously, he got hit around a little bit in the very first inning, and then he settled down and pitched pretty well. But the one thing Justin took from this start, he said, you know what, I'm going to need breaking ball, I'm going to need changeup, I'm going to need to refine my secondary pitches because the guys up here can hit good fastballs.
In a shallow right field, or fairly deep right field as it turns out, carried a little bit out there to Maglio, and Laporta is retired, and so Verlander continues to march along here, 5 up, 5 down, and the numbers on Verlander in that debut back on the 4th of July.
His legs have gotten a lot stronger since that day. Looking at that video of 05, he looked real slim. I guess that's the case with just about anybody. 4 or 5 years, mature.
A little bit slimmer back in 05.
Yeah, put a little bit more weight on. And he's got those strong legs, though. That's where he gets his power from.
Here's Shelley Duncan with 2 outs. Duncan batting .270. Getting a start in right field today. Came on as a pinch hitter in last night's ball game and picked up a single. This guy has big-time power, always had big-time power. Hit 30 home runs in the minor leagues last year at AAA. He was still a member of the Yankees organization at that time. 1 ball and 1 strike. Make it 1 and 2 on Duncan. He was at Columbus at the start of the year, called up on May the 19th. Shelley had 34 RBIs in just 38 games at AAA level, and they decided to call him up.
He was the MVP in the International League last year, so not a whole lot for him to accomplish in the minor leagues.
He's run the count now to 2 balls, 2 strikes.
It's almost like Michael Brantley. their center fielder today. Very good year in AAA last year. Had a nice showing in the major leagues in the month of September a season ago, but found himself in the minors the majority of this year.
Three and two now on Shelley Duncan. Duncan became really popular with the Yankees when he was called up. He hit a lot of home runs when he first got up to the big leagues with the Yanks. Spent parts of 3 years at the big league level with the Yankees, but the majority of his time in the minor leagues. And the 3-2 pitch. He missed outside. It's a 2-out walk for Shelley Duncan. He's going to bring up Trevor Crow. Indians still searching for their first hit. Crow had a nice night last night, a double and a triple. And batting .255.
Duncan, not one of those guys that steals bases, but Verlander is a guy that has a tremendous pickoff move. As a matter of fact, he picked off 2 Minnesota Twins right before the All-Star break. Well, ask and you shall receive. He got pretty good players too. I think he got Span and Hudson.
Well, no slouches on the base pass.
No, 2 good base runners. Quick move by Verlander, who was obviously paying a little bit more attention to the running game on that day.
The 0-1.
You don't usually see big, strong, physical pitchers with mid-90s to triple-digit fastballs with the kind of move that Verlander has over the first base. When he decides to throw over there and keep you close, he's very, very difficult to run on. However, when you guess correctly and he picks that left leg up in a more conventional way when throwing that pitch toward home plate, he has yielded some stolen bases this year.
Got him, strike 3. Crow is caught looking, and Verlander now has 3 strikeouts. The one and only Al Kaline, from a Hall of Fame player to a popular broadcaster, now a valued executive. This episode chronicles his longtime loyalty to the Tigers organization. Catch Tigers Weekly, Al Kaline, this evening at 6 p.m. here on Fox Sports Detroit. And Mr. Tiger says that he has a great amount of respect for Tigers fans.
The people here are special. I mean, they really are. They're great. They're knowledgeable, very knowledgeable about sports in general. They're great Tiger fans. All they ask for is somebody to go out and really play hard and do the best they can.
So make sure you tune in to Tigers Weekly. It should be a special show with Al Kaline tonight. Johnny Damon is leading it off here in the third. It'll be Damon, Ordonez, and then Cabrera.
He is absolutely right about Tigers fans. They are knowledgeable.
They have certainly come out in big numbers over the last few years. And expect the same to be true here this year. Of course, every time we come to Cleveland, a lot of Tigers fans. And this is just a great day to watch baseball. Meanwhile, again, Carmona falls behind 3-0. Damon looks at a strike, 3-1. There's another walk. Ball 4. The leadoff man is on. The walks are starting to pile up now for Carmona. That's his 4th. Meanwhile, Manny Acton now is making a slow walk out to the mound. Carmona just has not seemed to be very crisp this afternoon. He walked 2, gave up 3 hits in the first inning. Got a double play after walking a man in the second. And this appears to be a one-sided conversation. So here comes Ordonez with the leadoff walk to Damon. Tigers now put the leadoff man on in each of the first 3 innings this afternoon. Maglio is 0 for 1. He lined that ball to right field, but Duncan made that sprawling catch out. Here's the 0-1. Ordonez 7 for his last 15. Maglio now just a couple of RBI shy of reaching 500 runs driven in a Tigers uniform. Drills that one foul.
Maglio is one hitter that will try to take that Carmona two-seam fastball that kind of runs inside on the right-handed batter and shoot it the other way. And he knows that if you try to pull that baseball, you're usually going to hit it on the ground, and that would not be a good situation here. Duncan made a really nice play against Ordonez his first time up. Ordonez lined a ball in the right field sharply. Diving play by Duncan.
Now the 2-2. Duncan certainly not known for his defense, but look at this play.
Jackson was on first base. He would have scored for sure. And Ordonez may have been standing on third base. Tigers still went on to score 3 runs in the first, however.
2-2 on Mags. And the runner goes, and it's fouled back out of play.
Not a bad play. Damon does have some speed, although he has not stolen a lot of bases in a Tigers uniform. And Carmona is one of those guys that just doesn't do very well holding runners on at first.
Well, Leland has to be a little bit happier about his team's effort. Today they came out swinging the bat, scoring 3 in the very first inning after a very sluggish, as he termed it, effort last night. Maglio spoils another. Manny Acton was saying before the game today that one of the keys for Jake Westbrook in last night's game was the fact that he kept the bottom and the top of the lineup off the bases. So guys like Ordonez, Cabrera, and Bosch, they just couldn't or had too many opportunities to drive in runs. Scherzer took the loss in last night's game. And Carmona missing again, 3-2. So the pitches are starting to pile up as well.
Well, he's not pitching like an all-star, at least not today. 50 pitches, 25 of which have missed the strike zone. He has not been able to control or command his two-seam fastball today.
Runner goes, and there is ball 4. So on the move on 3-2, Damon will take second base, and back-to-back walks to open things up here in the third.
He has walked 5 here today. On July 9th, his final start before the All-Star break, he walked 4 in that game. So control has been an issue for Carmona in the month of July.
Meanwhile, as Cabrera steps in, the Triple Crown stats look like this. He is trailing Josh Hamilton in the average column, and also Bautista in the home run column.
I keep hearing Bautista's name in trade rumors.
Really?
Yeah.
Hard hit ball at third. Nice play by Marte, and he will start a 5-4-3 double play. A whale of a play by Andy Marte. That ball was scalded.
Cabrera absolutely kills Carmona, but Carmona continues to challenge him with fastballs, and he about undressed Marte. And Marte picks this ball, does a reverse pirouette, fires to Nix, and the double play is completed. You will not see a finer double play started by a third baseman.
Well executed, 2 gone. Runner at third, and now Brennan Bosch. Big swing, 0-1 on Bosch. That ball probably scores 2 more if it gets by Marte and goes to the corner and left. It was hit so hard. Bosch had a walk, scored a run in the first inning.
That was the 113th double play turn by Cleveland's defense, which is the most in the American League.
And I guess not surprising when you have a couple of guys in the rotation like Carmona and Westbrook.
Yeah, most of their guys are sinker ballers. They don't really have a strikeout pitcher in their rotation.
Way outside.
I guess Masterson could be a strikeout guy. He's got the power stuff to be a strikeout guy, but he's pretty much a two-seam sinker guy himself.
Yeah, he gets a lot of ground balls too. One and 2 on Bosch. And a ground ball to short. Should get him out of the inning. And it does. The big double play bails out Carmona. He gets some help from Andy Marte. Detroit is brought to you by the Romani Eye Institute, the most trusted name in eye care. AT&T, find out what's possible with the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, rethink possible. And by your Detroit area Volkswagen dealers. Visit DetroitVWDealers.com. Back here in Cleveland, we have a double dip today, game 1 of the doubleheader. And the Tigers behind Justin Verlander lead at 3-0 as we go to the bottom of the third here at Progressive Field. Andy Marte, Jason Donald, and then Michael Brantley facing the Tigers right-hander. First pitch is in for a strike on Marte, who just turned a nifty double play. He's had a pretty good series because he hit a 2-run homer last night and turning in some defense today as well. Marte batting just 191, though.
For the most part, that's where you want to pitch Marte. You want to stay away from him. as Justin did with the first pitch fastball, which was a strike, and he missed with the breaking ball. If you make a mistake to Marte on the inner third of the plate, he's got plenty of pop in his bat. Ooh. Wow. 3-2 fastball didn't do a whole lot last night, and Marte found the seats and left.
Scherzer, before that home run or after the game last night, said, I was walking so many guys, I just decided to throw my fastball over the plate, and Marte made him pay for it.
It was a straight fastball, too.
Marte is still mired in a slump despite what he did last night. 5 for his last 39. The 2-2 pitch. Ooh, another beauty. It had him buckled, but it missed inside.
And Brian Runge almost went up with the right hand there, too. He flinched. He would be the home plate umpire. He almost gave it to Justin.
Into left field, a base hit. Time for a game break now. We go back to the studio, and here is Ryan Field. All right, Ryan, thank you. Here it is 3-0. The Tigers have the lead, and the Indians have just picked up their first hit of the game. Jason Donald will step in with one on and nobody out. Donald hitting .273. Doubled and knocked in a run in last night's game. That's into the gap in right center field. It's going to be trouble. It's down and it goes to the wall. Should get a run in. Marte coming to third. They're going to send him around. And Guillen will hold up the cutoff. It's a double and an RBI for Jason Donald. And Cleveland not only with its first 2 hits of the game, but now their first run as well.
It's all about location. Even if you're Verlander and you have a fastball that's 95 miles an hour, you've got to locate it in a better area. That one's right down the middle, and real good concentration by Donald. And he shoots that ball in the right center field gap.
And Marte scores with ease from first base. Donald gets his 14th RBI. Indians are on the board, and here comes Michael Brantley. He flied to center field his first time up.
Yeah, Brantley's got a job to do with nobody out, being the leadoff hitter and a runner standing on second base. He's got to at least advance Donald to third, preferably drive him in.
Line drive to center, base hit. Jackson will charge, and that will score the run. So Brantley with an RBI single, 3 straight hits now for Cleveland.
Well, time for Verlander to make an adjustment, which he's been able to do very well the last couple of months. When people are starting to hit your fastball, you've got to go to your secondary pitches, and Marte, he hit a fastball, as did Donald, and then you've got a fastball being driven up the middle by Brantley. And Verlander needs to start mixing in more curveballs, more changeups, at least early in counts.
There's Jason Nix. He struck out back in the first.
That is 4 strikeouts in the series for Nix. Tough draw for him. Scherzer dominates right-handers, and so does Verlander on most days.
Verlander has made 2 starts this year against Cleveland, 1 at home and 1 here. This is his 3rd of the year against the Indians. And in his start here in Cleveland back on May 8th, he struck out 9 in 6 innings. Started quickly today by striking out 3 in the first 2 frames, but Cleveland has scored now here in the 3rd. Nix is now 1 for his last 16. 0-2. Nix has a brother who also plays in the big leagues with Cincinnati, Lance Nix.
That Cincinnati Reds team is, I believe, a half a game in first place. They got a good division. And really, if you look all around baseball, there are so many teams that are still in the hunt after the All-Star break. It should be an interesting second half for a lot of cities.
It'll be interesting to see if that Cincinnati team can hang on. I mean, the Cardinals are in that division. Chicago has struggled. The rest of the teams are below 500. It's basically the Cardinals and the Reds in the Central. One and two. Jason Nix. Runner going and a good jump and no throw by Avila, who could not grasp the baseball. I'm not sure he'd have gotten him anyway.
That's one of the things I was talking about last half inning when there was a base runner on first base. Verlander does a very nice job as far as his pickoff move is concerned in holding you close. But when he decides to go home, he's about 1.6, 1.7 to home plate. And a base stealer like Brantley can have his way against Verlander if Verlander approaches his delivery the way he approached that last one.
Brantley has his first major league steal of this season. And a strike call got him looking. Boy, the tough series continues for Nix.
He came in hot, too. I mean, he was sizzling hot.
Not anymore. 5 strikeouts in the series.
Real good breaking ball here. And he needs to stay with the breaking ball and the changeup.
Here comes Santana. Carlos also struck out. That was back in the first inning.
Many people here in Cleveland believe Santana has a chance to be a superstar as far as a hitter is concerned. Switch hitter with power, some plate discipline. And they say he takes a vicious swing, but yet still able to put the ball in play. Doesn't have to strike out all that much.
There's a ground ball to second. Ian has it, and that will advance the runner. There are 2 gone. So the tying run now moves to third base, and it's going to bring up Travis Hafner.
It'll be interesting to see how Verlander approaches Hafner here. I know Hafner's not having a Hafner-type season or a Hafner-type career that he started out with, but he still is a run producer, and he's left-handed, and you've got a base open, and you've got a right-hander behind him. So we'll see if Verlander pitches cautiously to him or if he just simply goes right after him.
Yeah, and the fact that we pointed out earlier that Hafner is a lifetime better than 300 hitter against him. Lined out to the right fielder his first time, 0 for 1. Justin pitching from the windup with the runner at third. Tigers got 3 runs in the first inning. The Indians answer with 2 here in the third. One and one.
Anytime you go up against Verlander, you simply have to throw those secondary pitches out the window. Even though you know he has those pitches, you really can't hit him when he's locating them very well. I'm talking about the curve, the change, and the slider. So you have to stay on your fastball. You have to sit fastball and hope he hangs one of those breaking balls.
Meanwhile, he's thrown another one for a strike.
He's watched all 3 go right by. He's still sitting on that fastball.
Hafner has really struggled this year with men in scoring position, just 164. And he's doing it with 2 outs here in the third inning. After 3 straight breaking balls, Avila flashing the signals. And another one, it missed high.
Verlander told me that last breaking ball right there, he will do that by design. He will start it up out of the strike zone, knowing the depth that he has with that pitch. It will settle nicely right around the belt buckle, but he didn't get the call there. When he is good, he will throw his curveball to different spots, to certain hitters.
He checked it. Didn't go.
Ooh. depth on that curveball. He's thrown 5 straight curveballs.
Will it be 6?
Go hang it.
Fastball, but he missed with it. It's a walk for Travis Hafner. First and third. JV now with 2 walks. Here comes Rick Knapp. A couple of fairly quick innings for Verlander, but this has been a lengthy third, so Knapp is out to give him a breather.
He also wants to make sure that he's clear on the scouting report to Laporta. Laporta, since coming back from the minors, has been one of their better hitters. And he wants to make sure that Verlander is refreshed on the scouting report to Laporta. Laporta finally getting a chance to play every day since being acquired by the Milwaukee Brewers a couple of seasons ago.
Meanwhile, Verlander has thrown 21 pitches here in the third, and now Laporta, who is 0 for 1, stands in. Carmona has watched his teammates now get him some runs back. Time runs standing at third. Driven to center field. Jackson is on the run, still going, and he makes another running catch.
Ooh, that boy knows he can fly.
Austin Jackson runs down another one. He just seems to do it every single day. This one saved maybe 2 runs.
It looked like he was shaded in left center field with Laporta standing in the batter's box. This is Jackson out here in this position. And when this ball left Laporta's bat, I didn't think Jackson had a chance to run it down. But, boy, has he done a lot of that this year.
Well, I'll say it again. He has played Gold Glove caliber center field as Guillen rolls one, and he is nipped at the wire at first base, one gone. I mean, as a rookie, extremely unlikely to win that award, but jeez.
He gets great jumps. Lethal first steps. And here's some of the plays that he has provided for us this year. I mean, he has been a human highlight film in center field.
Maybe none bigger than this one here in the Galarraga near perfect game. It's been quite a year for Jackson, and he turns in another beauty. Here's Brandon Inge. Carmona, meanwhile, trying to straighten himself out. He got away with a couple of walks in the third because he got a double play ball. And in fact, the Tigers have watched Carmona turn 2 or induce 2 double play balls.
Verlander seems to have center fielders that make real nice plays for him when he's on the mound in this ballpark. And that catch that Curtis Granderson made for Verlander last year in a 1-0 game, robbing a home run and a game-winning home run by would have been Grady Sizemore.
The 1-1 pitch. That might have been, at least in our time, watching Curtis Granderson his best catch.
I would agree with that under the circumstances.
Yeah, and that probably put it over the top. The fact that it saved the game. Here's the 1-2. Got him. Strike 3. Inge not convinced it was a strike, but that's the call. 2 away.
Well, they kind of had Carmona on the ropes here early on, and he started to settle in a little bit. And that's a good firm fastball that may have been a touch inside, but it was good enough for Brian Runge to call strike 3.
Here's Avila, who walked in the second. We're talking about Carmona and the fact that he was working with a mental skills coach. There's a swing and a miss. And one of the things they tried to get him to do is to slow the game down. It had gotten way too fast for him. Speeding up way too fast. And they think that they found a way to get him to slow down. And lo and behold, he comes back and has an all-star season this year. 0-2 on Alex Avila. Now Carmona's 0-2 pitch.
Did you know Hoy was behind the plate today?
I did. I don't know why they have him listed, but he was not in the umpire rotation yesterday. Unless that's a misprint. That's low. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Low, 3 balls, 2 strikes.
My apologies to you at home. I've been going with the wrong umpire here tonight. It is James Hoy behind the plate, but for whatever reason he wasn't here yesterday, and I just kind of looked at my scorecard and just kind of rotated him up. So my bad.
Meanwhile, Avila gets a walk. How about 6 walks now for Carmona? Here is Santiago. We're going to have to get to the bottom of this because the home plate umpire is wearing number 97. And on our score sheet, that would be Todd Tichenor. And according to MLB.com, 97 is Todd Tichenor. So we still don't have it right.
Oh, my goodness.
We'll get to the bottom of it. But Tichenor is the home plate umpire. 0-2 the count. All you can do sometimes is go by the information you're given on the score sheet. That is at James Hoy.
You know, usually when there's like a 4-game series, I very seldom even look down at the umpire rotation after the first day, because they simply rotate the first base umpire. He goes to home plate, and they just rotate that manner. But obviously there's some changes here.
Sometimes the only time you'll see that is if it is the final game of a 4-game series. One of the umpires will take off to another crew because they stay together for the 3-game series. But it doesn't happen often, but this is only game 2. We'll get them all straightened out. 1-2 on Santiago. Tigers lead at 3-2. And Carmona missing low. Ramon flying to center field back in the second. Three in the very first inning for Detroit, but they have not been able to do anything against Carmona, despite the fact that he has now walked 6 in this game. This is the 3rd time this year that Carmona has walked 6 in a single contest. 2-2. Bouncing ball to short on the charge, Donald. So the Tigers get a 2-out walk, strand man. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Question today brought to you by AT&T. Name the 4 Tigers pitchers who have won the American League single-season strikeout title since 1959. Of course, Verlander won it last year. So there's one. You're down to 3. And since 59, there have been a total of 4. Can you name the other 3? I probably shouldn't have given you Verlander, but you probably could have figured that out. It's been one of those days already. We're efforting the umpire rotation as we speak as well.
We still got time to get it together. A lot of baseball to be played here today.
Shelley Duncan leads it off against Verlander. The breaking ball drops in for a strike. Duncan, then Crow, and then Marte in the bottom of the 4th inning.
After Verlander gave up the 3 straight hits in the last half inning, he has gone to more breaking balls. Not many changeups, but the curveball has been a real good pitch for him today. Verlander is one of those guys that has 4 above average pitches, so if 2 of them are working for you on any given day, you still have a chance of being a real good pitcher and having a real good start.
That's fouled back out of play. One ball and 2 strikes on Shelley Duncan, who walked back in the 2nd. Well, Rob, we put our best detectives on the umpire question, and we came up with the result here.
What we got?
That is actually James Hoy behind the plate. He's just wearing the wrong number.
Wow.
There's strike 3 on Duncan. So it is Hoy behind the plate wearing Titchener's number. The rest are correct. Titchener's at first, Molchinski is at second, and Jerry Lane is at third. That's the last time we'll talk about the umpires today. We hope. Here's Trevor Crow now with 1 out. Crow was a strikeout victim back in the 2nd. Let's see, Verlander now has 5 strikeouts. We're used to seeing Justin at the top spot in strikeouts in the league, or near it. But this year, he's in the top 10, but he is not first. Jared Weaver of the Angels is first with 142 strikeouts.
I kind of like the fact that he's not exerting that much energy start after start after start by leading the American League in strikeouts.
That's rolled to the right side. Verlander will cover. Guillen makes the play.
And for those of you that do not know what Verlander features on a day-to-day basis, so we're going to show you his fastball and also his curveball and the slider. But the thing that makes him impressive is he's got the same windup, same delivery, throwing all 3 pitches out of the same window with the same arm speed. And when you get a guy that's able to do that and locate on occasion the way that Verlander is able to locate, he can dominate a team like the Cleveland Indians, like he has done his last 6 starts. They have not beaten him.
That's kind of amazing. I mean, there's not even a slight variation on his arm slot.
Arm speed as well. I mean, Verlander throws his fastball and his curveball with the same effort, same arm speed, but obviously by the way that he lets the ball go and grips the baseball, he can add or decrease velocity. He's a special pitcher. There's no doubt about that.
Well, he's looking for the 1, 2, 3, 4th inning. He's facing Andy Marte here with the bases empty. Tigers have 3 runs, 3 hits, and the Indians 2 runs, 3 hits. Here's the 1-1 pitch. High, towering fly ball. Brennan Bosch camped under it. And it's going to be a 1, 2, 3 inning for Justin Verlander. We go to the 5th here in Cleveland. Game 1 of the doubleheader. Fifth inning in this game. Carmona has received some defensive help in this game. Otherwise, it might be a much different contest.
Well, he's walked 6, but every now and then you've got to get some help from your counterparts. He had the outstanding play in right field by Duncan. Tremendous relay. Donald, the shortstop, getting that ball, getting it to home. Real nice block by Santana, and the dazzling start to the 5-4-3 double play by Marte, the third baseman.
And that's how, ladies and gentlemen, you can walk 6 through 4 innings and still be trailing by just a run, 3-2 as we head to the 5th. A lot of ground balls for Mr. Carmona. He'll face the top of the lineup here. Austin Jackson leads it off. Jackson, then Damon, and then Ordonez. Austin 1 for 2, singled, scored a run. 3 hits in the series already for the Tigers leadoff man. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Carmona now has thrown 74 pitches. That's what the walks will do for you. That's fouled away. Well, the Players' Choice Awards have been handed out. And the category was, which player do you think will be a future star? It's on MLB.com. And Austin Jackson was voted in the American League, Steven Strasburg in the National League. So Jackson is opening some eyes among his peers.
There's no doubt about that. And you think about all the young players that are in the American League, and he was voted as the one most likely to be a future star. Wow.
In my mind, I think the reason for that is, and this is just my opinion, he is doing it offensively, but his defense is shining as well. Carmona got him that time.
Also playing on a contending team.
That certainly helps. It's only the 2nd strikeout for Carmona. Here's Johnny Damon. Walking a pop-up today for Damon. Johnny trying to extend his hitting streak. It's at 6 in a row. The 1-0 pitch. Squibbed off the end of the bat to the shortstop on the backhand. Donald. And Damon is aboard. So the Tigers get a 1-out base runner. Johnny Damon. Here is the trivia question, courtesy of AT&T. Name the 4 Tigers pitchers who have won the American League single-season strikeout championship since the late 50s. Bunning, Lolich, Morris, and Verlander. The answer. We gave you Verlander, of course. You get the other 3. Ordonez 0 for 1. He walked in his last at bat. Starting to get the Let's Go Tigers chance here in Cleveland. Hometowners trying to drown him out with boos. And there they go. Tigers fans not only traveling, but they're loud as well. Here's the 2-0 pitch. On the ground at third, Marte scoops up another. There's one, and there's another double play. And Andy Marte has started all 3. Carmona living large today.
This Monday through Wednesday and take advantage of the weekday value pack. Get 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 soft drinks, and 4 bags of chips for only $55. For tickets, call 866-66-TIGER or visit tigers.com.
Well, on a warm afternoon here, game 1 of the doubleheader. Temperature in the mid-80s today. Justin Verlander holding on to a 3-2 lead. The Tigers got out to a 3-0 advantage, and then Cleveland got a pair in the third. Verlander, however, righted the ship in the 4th inning with a 1-2-3 frame. Jason Donald leads it off for the Indians as we head to the bottom of the 5th. First pitch from Verlander hits the outside corner, strike 1 on Donald, who doubled in a run back in the 3rd frame. He's got a couple of RBIs in the series. The 0-1 pitch. Make it 0-2 on Jason Donald. He was acquired from Philadelphia in the Cliff Lee deal, and Donald knew that when he was with the Phillies, there really wasn't much place for him to go. Middle infielder in that organization. And, of course, when you have guys like Rollins and Utley ahead of you, he was happy for the trade. Verlander, meanwhile, has struck out 6 in this game, 1 gone.
And Comcast is telling us that Verlander has touched 99 in this game, and he's probably thrown in the velocity range in between that on several different pitches. 77 with a low. More than likely a changeup with that low reading.
Here's leadoff man Michael Brantley, and he strokes one into right field, a base hit. Brantley is really starting to look like he might be heating up. That's his second hit of the game, and well, here's what's going on in the Central Division.
Well, Tigers most definitely need to be played a little bit better on the road. That much is for sure. They are 10 games under, and they also need to pick it up in their division. And if they do that, they've got a pretty good chance of overtaking the White Sox, who have got to cool off at some point in time. They were cooled off last night by Francisco Liriano, but boy, they had won 9 in a row.
Jason Nix, the batter. Brantley swiped the bag back in the third, so Verlander keeping a close eye on him. He represents the tying run. We're in the 5th inning. One more game to come later tonight. The nightcap. Tigers will have Porcello on the hill. Mitch Talbot will go for the Cleveland Indians. Nick struck out in the first, struck out in the third, and now has whiffed 5 times in the first 2 games in the series. Each team with 4 hits in this game. Tigers got 3 in the first, Indians 2 in the third. Into the glove for strike 1. Verlander has won his last 3 straight decisions. The last time he took a loss was in New York against the Mets back on June 22nd. Came in today with a record of 11-5, an all-star appearance again under his belt. Last year he got to 19 wins. Would be nice to see him get to that 20 plateau this year. So Brantley continues to draw some throws. Nick swings through another one.
Nix has had several punch outs in the first 2 games of this series on breaking balls, but that time Verlander threw a piece of cheese by him at 95 miles an hour. And if you're Nix, you pretty much know there's a good chance you're going to get a breaking ball, but you can't afford to look for it. You just can't. Not with 2 strikes.
Last Tiger to win 20 games in a year was Bill Gullickson back in 1991. Won an even 20 games that year. Verlander a good shot to get to that plateau this season. The 1-2. Avila down to block that one. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Justin now has thrown 74 pitches. And another toss back. Missed it outside, 3-2.
Well, more than likely, Brantley's running from first base on the 3-2 count. But if you're Verlander here, you want to try to be as quick as you can without giving in to Nix in this situation, because he has struck out quite a bit. And if you strike him out, you want to give Avila a chance to throw Brantley out.
Runner goes, and it's ball 4. Ooh, he walked Nix. Didn't want to do that. That'll put 2 aboard now with 1 out. And Verlander has walked his 3rd. That'll bring a visit out from Avila. Now he's going to have to deal with 3 and 4. Santana coming up.
Hey fans, as soon as the game ends, our coverage continues with Tigers Live. You'll hear from the manager, Jim Leland, and the players. Plus, we'll break down the game and show you some highlights. Tigers Live from the Coliseum Studios immediately after the game here on Fox Sports Detroit.
So trouble brewing here in the 5th inning. Santana will bat. He's 0 for 2. Bounced out his last time up. Verlander could use a ground ball here. Carmona's been living on the ground ball today. In fact, they turned 3 double plays behind him. Ball 1. We've talked about Santana and the high hopes they have for him. They designated Mike Redmond for assignment. And they called up Santana on June 11th. Lou Marston was their starting catcher at the beginning of the year. He's been sent down to AAA to get more at bats, but clearly the future is this young man here, Santana. And another one in the dirt, 2-0.
Marston was supposed to be a pretty good prospect himself that they got from the Philadelphia Phillies.
Absolutely, and he's back down to AAA. I think the big difference, obviously, is the offensive potential from Santana.
No doubt.
Which is certainly much higher. And Santana was a third baseman / outfielder when he first got into pro ball. They converted him to the catching position. Hasn't been catching for very long, just about 3 years now. Fouled away. 2-1 on Santana. Of course, the Indians had another catcher here before Mr. Santana was converted as well. Victor Martinez was drafted as a shortstop and converted to the catcher position. And he went on to be a good one here in Cleveland, now in Boston. The 2-1 pitch is low. 3 balls and 1 strike, and Verlander now digging a hole here.
That's got to be the hardest thing to do. Not putting on catcher's gear until you're already a professional.
Unreal. I mean, perhaps somewhere in his past, whether it was Martinez or Santana, he had caught, whether it was high school or, I don't know, somewhere. But, yeah, I mean, that's a very demanding and very skillful position. Big swing there. 3-2 on Santana.
Power against power. 97 right at the belt buckle, right down the middle. Here it is, hit it. He struck Santana out his first time up with a real nice fading changeup that Santana took for strike 3.
And a bluff back to second base. Yes, there have been a ton of injuries here for the Indians this year, but you don't normally see a young man called up, first taste of the big leagues, and they just pretty much plopped him into the number 3 spot in their lineup. And he has showed that he can handle it. 5 homers, 17 RBIs already. Chance to tie this one up with a base hit and maybe take the lead with an extra base hit. 3-2 pitch, fouled away. Verlander challenging again at 97 miles an hour. And another foul back out of play. Santana in the minor leagues certainly showed why he was going to be a star at this level. He won the MVP award in the Eastern League last year and the MVP award in the Cal League 2 years ago. So he's a two-time MVP, once at A-ball and once at Double-A.
I like the maturity of Avila and going out to talk to Verlander before he throws this next pitch, because Santana's been on everything that Verlander has thrown, and if you're Avila, you want to make sure you're on the same page here as your pitcher.
And he lost him. Ball 4. Verlander walks Santana, his second consecutive walk. Blowed him up.
Let's take a look at our Bell Tire pitch by pitch at how Verlander goes after the very talented young hitter. And one of the things that impresses you about Santana is he takes borderline pitches. I mean, pitches that are just a hair off the inside or outside. He doesn't swing at it. He finally gets himself into a real good hitter's count here and whiffs on the fastball right down the middle, but then he proceeds to foul off several real good firm fastballs from Verlander at the top of the strike zone before finally taking the one inside for ball 4.
And now Verlander has the bases loaded here with only 1 out, and he will face the cleanup man, Travis Hafner.
Hafner does not hit into many double plays. He's got a classic uppercut swing, but you never know. He might hit something on the ground. He is usually hitting fly balls or home runs when he was going good. And kind of playing him straight up. No shift on with the middle infielders.
Hafner waves and misses. Travis in the ball game with a line out and a walk.
Started him off with a changeup at the top of the strike zone. Just enough to get Hafner to swing over the top of it.
Swing and a miss. 0-2.
It's a changeup. That last pitch is a changeup at 89 miles an hour. Verlander usually does not throw his changeup that aggressive as far as the speed is concerned.
He's ahead 0-2 on Hafner. And here it comes. Swing and a miss. He struck him out, and that is a huge strikeout for Verlander. 2 gone.
And last time Hafner was up, he got 5 straight curveballs from Verlander. This time, 2 changeups, and then he finishes them off with an outstanding, well-located breaking ball. He's still got 1 big out to get. And Laporta hit a seed to right center field his last time up, and Jackson was able to run it down with 2 runners on base.
(0-1) on Laporta.
Laporta is very comfortable playing first base here in Cleveland. He was a first baseman in college, but when he was drafted by the Milwaukee Brewers, they quickly moved him to the outfield. They had a guy by the name of Prince Fielder playing first base in Milwaukee, and Laporta was not going to get many reps over there.
There's some thought that Laporta would be the left fielder this year for Cleveland coming out of spring camp. I thought that maybe he and Brantley would split some time, and Kearns had a big start to the year. Laporta struggled, but he's back. There's Andy breaking ball on the inside part of the plate.
They told Laporta when he came back from the minor leagues, just have fun. Play baseball. If you go 0 for 4, you're still going to play the next day. Don't worry about it. And obviously he has heeded the advice of his manager, Manny Acta, and he's played some pretty good baseball since coming back up from the minor leagues. Of course, Russell Brandon was traded from Cleveland to the Seattle Mariners to pave the way for Laporta at first base.
I don't know Manny really well, but you know, it seems like he is the perfect guy for this situation with all the young players coming up in their system now.
Manny got his start in the Houston Astros organization, and he didn't move out of A-ball for 7 years. So he is used to dealing with real young players, and the roster here in Cleveland is a very young roster for him to deal with. 7 years in A-ball before getting out as a manager.
The 1-2. Whistled foul. Most guys managing at A-ball certainly want to move up, and their hope is to one day probably manage in the big leagues. But I don't think many of them expect to spend 7 seasons at one level.
No, not at all. And that was with the Houston Astros organization.
They're loaded up. They have Brantley, they have Nix, they have Santana on the bases. 2 gone. And again the 1-2. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Verlander pitching out of the jam. Ending the inning, he strikes out the side. 8 strikeouts for Justin Verlander, and the Indians leave him loaded. In the top of the 6th inning, and Justin Verlander loaded the bases. However, he got 2 huge strikeouts.
Well, the first one was to Hafner. He maneuvered through him on 3 pitches, a couple of changeups and a wicked breaking ball, and then he was able to get Laporta as well. Same pitch, same results.
And Verlander wiggles out of the jam with his 8th strikeout of the afternoon. Tigers holding on to a 1-run lead. Time to add some more now as Miguel Cabrera leads it off. Fausto Carmona still out there. It'll be Cabrera, Bosch, and Guillen. Cabrera is still trying to extend that hitting streak. It's at 20 straight. He's 0 for 1 with a walk today. The last 21 game hitting streak the Tigers had was Alan Trammell back in 1987.
Wow. That's a long time ago.
And the longest ever for a Tiger was a really long time ago. Ty Cobb in 1911. That was a 40-gamer. So Cabrera is getting into that area where you really start to pay attention now when you get to the 20-plus area on hitting streaks.
He had a double taken away from him earlier in this game on a dazzling play by their third baseman, Marte, who turned it into a double play.
Marte, in fact, has started 3 twin killings here this afternoon. Here's the 2-0. Cabrera looks at a strike, 2-1. The hitting streaks for a guy like Cabrera have to be difficult, too, because a lot of times hitters of his caliber will be pitched around. The 2-1 pitch. There's a ground ball and a diving stop at second by Nix, and another hit taken away from Miguel.
And another point to make about Cabrera is most guys like him, they don't get infield singles. And boy, has the defense stepped up here today for Carmona. He has not pitched all that well. He's thrown almost as many balls as strikes, but they continue to make dazzling plays behind him.
Well, this is a Cleveland team that came in with 65 errors this year, which was more than any team in the American League. As Bosch stands in. And early today, before the game, they were taking ground balls. They were working over their defense. They got out early. I'm not sure if they hit. I don't remember seeing them hit, but they were taking a ton of ground balls.
When you have a young team and you have a young manager that comes from player development, as we told you, Manny Acta, why not get the guys up and get them some ground balls and work on some fundamentals? I think the Tigers have done a little bit more of that this year themselves because they've got quite a few rookies on their team that are still learning how to play the game of baseball.
1-1. Bosch rolls it foul. 1-2 on Brennan.
You know, Jim has said on many occasions, I mean, it's kind of refreshing to get the young kids up to the big leagues and allows you to teach a little bit as a manager, whereas most of the times you're not teaching in the big leagues. But guys are getting to the big leagues so much younger and faster these days that they just don't learn a whole lot in the minor leagues.
Well, if you think about it, I guess when Jim got here in 2006, he really has not had a young team. I mean, his teams have been pretty much veteran laden. The team that got to the World Series had a lot of older guys. The 07 team as well. Here's the 2-2. Fouled off.
You wouldn't have thought the Tigers would be fifth youngest team in the majors, but they are. And, of course, the Indians are the youngest team.
Two on Brennan Bosch. Little chopper on a high chop. It'll fall into the glove of Carmona, and Bosch is out. 2 away here in the Tigers' 6th inning. We invite you to vote for your Tigers McDonald's player of the game today using your cell phone. Text Tigers followed by a space, then the player's uniform number to 37338. That's FSDET. See the final results post-game during Tigers Live after Game 1 of today's doubleheader. Here's Carlos Guillen with 2 outs. Two-run single for Carlos back in the 1st inning. The Tigers scored all 3 of their runs in the 1st, but nothing against Carmona since then. And Guillen now 30 RBIs on the year. Waves and misses again. 1-1 on Carlos. That 2-run single snapped an 0 for 9 for Guillen back in the 1st inning. Just missed the outside corner. 2-1. Two balls, 2 strikes. Carlos, through his career, has had decent numbers lifetime against this Indians team. 14 career home runs, came in at 289. And he's been around a while, so his numbers will start to pile up against every team that he faces. Carmona missed again, this time outside, 3-2. Fausto now has thrown 97 pitches. 3-2 pitch on the ground of the second baseman. Nix has this one, and the side retired. Tigers go 1-2-3. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by Bell Tire.
It's time for the Coors Light Freeze Cam. There's been some outstanding defensive plays in this game, and this is one of the biggest ones as well. You got Jackson in center field taking away extra base hits away from Laporta with a couple of runners on base and high fives from his teammates. Coors Light Freeze Cam is always brought to you by your Frost Brewed Coors Light.
Boy, the defense has been sparkling mainly on the Cleveland end, but Jackson making a terrific running catch. Helping out Justin Verlander, who by inning now, you see his pitch numbers, 92 for the game so far. And he'll go to work here in the 6th inning. Hopefully a much more economical 6th than he had in the 5th. Shelley Duncan leads it on. It'll be Duncan, then Crow, and then Marte. Mentioning Duncan was the MVP of the International League last year. He knocked in 99 runs at Scranton Wilkes-Barre, hit 30 homers. AAA for the New York Yankees, and that was the organization that he grew up in and spent really his entire career in up until this year. That's pulled to third base under the glove of Brandon Inge into left. Duncan takes a wide turn and holds. Leadoff man is on.
It looked like a breaking ball that wasn't located all that badly down and away from Duncan, but he hooked it back toward Inge, and the ball just under the glove of Brandon.
Tying run is on. That is only the second time today the Indians have gotten the leadoff man aboard. Here's Trevor Crow. Crow is 0 for 2. Five hits on the board now for Cleveland. Tigers have just 4 hits. Here's the 1-0. Driven in the air toward left field. Bosch is on the run, still going back. He'll run it down in front of the wall, right at 370. Ball was hit hard the other way, but Crow is out, 1 gone.
Hey fans, follow the Tigers on your iPhone, iPod Touch, BlackBerry, Android phones with MLB.com at Bat 2010, featuring play-by-play video highlights and live audio broadcasts. Visit Tigers.com today for more details.
Here comes Andy Marte. He is 1 for 2, single and a fly ball. This Indians team came in as a ball club batting .246, and only Toronto and Seattle had lower team averages. Tigers came in 3rd in the league.
I guess that Toronto team hitting for a lot of power, but they are not hitting for much average. We'll get our first look at Toronto here on the next homestand.
That hard to believe?
It is.
You know, the Tigers have opened up in Toronto several seasons in recent history, but all the way in July before we see the Blue Jays. Swing and a miss. 0-2 on Marte. Second half schedule will not be too kind. You've got trips to Texas and Tampa and Boston and New York, among others. The 0-2. Not to mention the teams within your division that you still have to play. And of course, the Tigers have to deal with the White Sox quite a bit.
Yes, they do. And they have not played all that well against the White Sox in recent memory. They'll have to flip that script.
Now the 1-2 pitch. Tried to get him to chase, but Marte would not do so. Andy's played a nice game today. He's turned or started 3 double plays. He has a single and a run scored. The big 2-run homer in the ball game last night. And he has Duncan at first base right now. Swing and a miss, and Verlander racks up another strikeout. That is his 9th. Time for a game break. Back to the studio we go, and here's Ryan Field. All right, Ryan, thank you. Here it's 3-2 as we play in the bottom of the 6th inning, and Jason Donald stands in.
Light schedule today as far as day baseball is concerned.
Yeah. Most of the action at night tonight.
I like playing day games on Saturday. I don't necessarily like doing 2 games on Saturday, but it's nice when you have a Saturday day game and you kind of get the whole night off.
Right. Well, day game tomorrow as well, as the Tigers will then return home. 0-1 on Jason Donald. Breaking ball stays in. Verlander has thrown quite a few of those here this afternoon. And the pitch count on Verlander reaching 100 and beyond 103 right now. 1-1. One and two. Verlander's high water mark this year in pitches thrown was 125. That was way back in April against the Angels.
I think about that same time, Jim said that he was going to try to keep Verlander under 120 on most of his starts. And he pretty much has done that. Verlander's kind of helped himself as well because he's been a lot more efficient.
Donald says he's hit by the pitch. He's walking to first base, but home plate umpire James Hoy says, "Where are you going?"
You can't blame Donald for trying.
Might as well. Boy, Leland was on the top step saying, "Where are you going? Hold up." 1-2. Verlander was right at it. Here's a little looper back, a second base hit. Duncan will get to second base, and so Donald will take his base nonetheless. 2 on and 2 outs. Just going to bring up the top of the order now, Michael Brantley. Talking about pitch counts, Rod, do you think we'll ever get to the point again where pitch counts aren't as important as they are in this day and age?
No, I don't, because if you look around baseball and you think about all the young stud pitchers that are pitching in the major leagues and having a lot of success, all these guys have been on pitch counts throughout the minor leagues, their first couple of years in the big leagues on pitch counts. I don't think people are going to change. I know Nolan Ryan in Texas is trying to change their approach as far as starting pitchers is concerned, but I don't think you're going to get baseball collectively buying into that.
Yeah, that might be a little bit too much of an undertaking. It's one thing for one organization to try and get back toward that, but the entire game, probably not. It gets away from Avila, and the runners will advance. So now a base hit could get you a couple of runs in the lead.
Well, we told you coming into play today that Brantley has pretty good numbers against Verlander, and he's already singled a couple of times on fastballs. So with a couple of runners in scoring position, Verlander needs to proceed with caution here with Brantley. You've got a right-hander in the on-deck circle who really has not had a good series, and that would be Nix. He has struck out 5 times in the series.
There's a ball outside. Fastball that time, and Brad Thomas now starting to warm up for the Tigers. He pitched in the ball game last night. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Ooh, now it's 3-0.
Well, apparently he's going to give Brantley first base.
You have Nix waiting on deck, who has had a struggle this series.
Well, you wonder if Maniac is considering maybe pinch hitting for Nix with the struggles that he has had.
Three and one. Nix has struck out 2 more times today, 5 times in the series, and he's lurking on deck. The 3-1. And there is ball 4, so that will load the bases. Give Verlander his 5th walk this afternoon to go with his 9 strikeouts.
Apparently both clubs have sort of come out from a pitching standpoint anyway, a little sluggish after the All-Star break. Westbrook was not all that good last night, nor was Scherzer. And Verlander and Carmona have kind of struggled finding their command today as well.
Well, here's an invitation to enjoy 15 days of summer at Comerica Park with a new ticket package that lets you pick the games that you want to attend. All purchasers receive great season ticket holder benefits, including postseason priority, which is always huge. Call 313-471-BALL or visit Tigers.com. Little visit from Rick Knapp. They are loaded up here. Key spot in this ball game. Tigers are leading by a run. And here's the number 2 hitter, Jason Nix. And really poor numbers with runners in scoring position this year. Verlander's first pitch is fouled off.
That's what happens when you struggle and you struck out 5 times in the previous 2 days. You swing at the first thing you see. And that was not a good pitch for Nix to swing at. But having been in his situation, I would have done the exact same thing. You don't want to strike out again.
And he's behind in the count. They've got Duncan at third base, Donald the runner at second, and Brantley at first. Here's the 0-1. It gets away from Avila. Here comes Duncan trying to score. The throw gets away from Verlander, and the run scores to tie the game at 3.
Now, this ball gets away from Avila, but I thought they still had a chance at getting Duncan, who did not get a good break from third. But when Avila fired to Verlander, he fired low. And Verlander did not reach back into the baseline. I think he was in fear of possibly getting spiked by Duncan, which was a wise decision to get out of the way. They had him.
Yeah, good throw, nails him. And Duncan is able to score. 3-3 game. Checked his swing. Did he go? He held up.
Verlander thought he went. I thought as much. But the replay will really give you an idea whether he did go or not. Oof. About as far as you can go without it being called a strike.
2-1. Two and two. Got Santana on deck, so Verlander wants to end this right here. They've already scored the tying run. Nix walked in his last at bat. Tigers 3, Indians 3. We're in the bottom of the 6th. Here's the 2-2. It is popped up. First base side, Cabrera will end the inning. But a wild pitch scores the game's tying run. Will go to the 7th. Ty Cobb on this day back in 1961 passed away, and what a career Ty Cobb had. A .367 career batting average. He hit 400 3 different seasons, and it was on July the 17th of 1961. This day in history, Ty Cobb passed away. Considered one of the all-time Tiger greats, one of the all-time greats in the game of baseball, one of the original members of the Hall of Fame.
The numbers back it up. 3 seasons, 400 or better.
Including a triple crown in his past. And now Brandon Inge leads it off as we go to the 7th inning. All tied now. 3-3 is our score. Game 1 in this doubleheader.
One of those kind of grinded out starts for both participants here today. Carmona and Verlander. Neither have really had their great stuff. But yet, they've twirled in a quality start.
Yeah, and both are over 100 pitches. 3 runs, 4 hits for Detroit. 3 runs, 6 hits for the Indians. Swing and a miss. Yeah, technically they are quality starts for both guys right now, but when you total up the numbers and you look at it in depth, they have both struggled. 6 walks for Carmona. The Verlander, while he has 9 strikeouts, has walked 5.
We need to revisit that quality start rule.
I think so. And today might be a good example. 2-2. Carmona's 2-2 pitch is chopped foul. Of course, our good friend John Lowe, who is a Tigers beat writer for the Detroit Free Press, originated that stat and came up with that statistic years back.
Did he?
He did indeed. Many have questioned him on it, though. I guess when you look at the raw numbers.
So he came up with it and everybody across the country runs with it?
That is true. Wow. There's a strike call. Inge is out of there. Carmona has just his 3rd strikeout of the game.
Like a slider. And it didn't do a whole lot. Velocity 88 miles an hour and kind of froze Brandon. Brandon couldn't pull the trigger.
Here's Alex Avila. He's been on base twice. Walks in the 2nd and 4th innings. Bouncing ball back up the middle. On the backhand, Nix. Well, the Tigers just have not been able to get anything going. And now 2 gone. That'll bring up Santiago.
Well, although Carmona has been wild here today, he is pitching with a lot more confidence these days. Comes in 8-7 with a real good earned run average. He made the All-Star team.
Here is Santiago. Well, it was 3 years ago this time that he was pitching with a lot of confidence. In fact, he formed a really good 1-2 punch with CC Sabathia here, and there were some at that time saying that they were the best 1-2 punch in the American League.
It was hard to argue with the numbers that they were posting. Cleveland rode him into the postseason, too.
Yeah, this time 3 years ago, Carmona was a 10-game winner, had an ERA in the mid-3s.
I think he finished in the top 3 in the Cy Young voting that year. Of course, CC Sabathia won the Cy Young that year.
The 2-0.
But neither pitched very well in the postseason that year. Carmona and CC both struggled in the postseason. But they were probably a little tired.
Yeah, they really had to come on down the stretch. 3-1, and the entire Indians team, I think, was favored to win that series.
Yeah, but Carmona is clearly pitching a whole lot better this year than he did last year when they had to send him all the way down to rookie ball to work on his mechanics. He had to go all the way to rookie ball. Usually when you're struggling as a starter, they send you down to AAA to kind of get some things fixed and to work against some good competition, but they really had to overhaul Carmona, not only physically, but mentally.
Drill to right center field, base hit. And Santiago keeps it going here in the 7th. He's going to try for 2 on the misplay by Brantley, and he's in there.
That's why you go hard out of the batter's box. And even though you know you're not going to get a double, by rounding first base aggressively, you put pressure on the outfielder, and he tries to make the play by getting the ball in a hurry, and he should know as well you're not going anywhere, and they mishandle it. Well, Santiago's not going to, but he's thinking about going to. Just putting pressure on the defender. And by him running hard, he was able to get to second base.
First error of the game for the Indians, and that will add to their league high total in the error column. 66 errors now for Cleveland. Can the Tigers take advantage? Here is Austin Jackson. Jackson 1 for 3. Jackson's base hit started the game. He eventually scored the game's first run. Tigers got all 3 of theirs in the first inning tonight, or today.
And Jackson came into play today with a .341 batting average against right-handed pitching, which is good for 6th in the American League, but no right-handed hitter has hit right-handed pitching better than Jackson. The other 5 that are ahead of him are all left-handed swingers. Some good names on that list, too. Hamilton, Crawford, Cano, Morneau, and DeJesus of the Kansas City Royals, and then Jackson.
Really, really strange. And I guess for as odd as Bosch has been hammering left-handed pitching, the same can be said for Jackson against righties.
Yep.
2-2 on Austin. Going to grind it out game for Verlander today. Tigers trying to take the lead here in the 7th. Carmona trying to close out, which probably is going to be his last inning. And a ground ball to short. Donald surrounds it. Jackson is out, and the side retired. No runs and a hit. 1 man left. Stretch time in game 1 of the doubleheader. Afternoon, 3-3 game, bottom of the 7th. Verlander goes 6 and strikes out 9 this afternoon. Donald with a couple of hits, including a double and an RBI. The Indians turned 3 double plays and now lead the major leagues, having turned 114 this year. Meanwhile, Verlander is done. The Tigers dip into the bullpen. They'll have lefty Phil Koch coming out of the pen.
Well, a little earlier than normal for Phil Koch, but the score is tied, and the Tigers desperately need to win this game. So why not go to Phil with the numbers that he has posted this year? His 43rd game he's been in. He comes in with 5 wins, no losses, and a very good earned run average.
Koch here in the 7th inning will face Hafner, Laporta, and then Shelley Duncan. This will be a no decision today for Justin Verlander after winning 3 consecutive starts. check that, Santana leading it off. And here are his splits, lefty-righty, and quite a bit of difference.
Yeah, Jim turned him around in yesterday's ball game when he brought Thomas in with the bases not loaded, but there was traffic on the base pass, and that's why he turned him around to the right side. He has not been as good there as he has been left-handed, although probably not that many at-bats.
First pitch is lined into right field, and Maglio comes over to make the play. Santana is retired. One away. It's going to bring up Travis Hafner. Hafner had a base on balls back in the third, the only time he has reached in this game. Cope trying to keep it a 3-3 contest. We have one more coming up tonight. Second game of the doubleheader. Rick Porcello back to the big leagues. Will get the start. Facing Mitch Talbot. Strike one on Hafner. Travis earlier this year hit a grand slam home run against the Boston Red Sox, and that was his 10th career grand slam. Much of that damage done 2004, 2005, 2006 when Hafner was having his really big seasons. Here's the 0-1.
They were calling him Pronk in those days.
Hafner's had to deal with a myriad of injuries.
There it is, Pronkville, USA.
The 1-1 is a ball down low. 2 balls, 1 strike on Hafner. Tigers today have been out hit 6-5. They had a 3-0 lead. Indians scored 2 in the third, 1 in the sixth to tie it up. Ground ball, second base. Routine for Guillen. 2 gone. 2 up, 2 down against Koch. Part of what has been a really solid bullpen this year for the Tigers. An ERA of 3.40.
Before Joel Zumaya went down with his injury, the Tigers, in my opinion, had the best bullpen in the American League. And their bullpen is still good, but they definitely need guys to continue to step up and pitch the way that they were pitching earlier in the season. But you really can't replace a guy like Joel Zumaya, especially the way he was pitching this year.
The ball's hit well, left center field, and it's going to go up against the wall. Laporta, who has hit a couple of balls hard in this game, has himself a double. And so the go-ahead run now is in scoring position with 2 outs.
Very aggressive swinging team the Cleveland Indians have these days, and it goes hand in hand with the youth. They're the youngest team in the major leagues. Usually if they get a first pitch fastball, they're letting it go.
So that'll keep the inning going now for Shelley Duncan. Duncan had a single to start things off. That was back in the 6th, and he eventually came around to score the tying run on a wild pitch. He's not going to bat here with first base open. Trevor Crowe waiting on deck, so they'll deal with him.
Well, probably the same thought process that went into Cope coming into this game to face Santana. A switch hitter and turn him around to the right side is the same situation with Crowe. Hitting .214 as a right-handed batter, .269 coming into play today as a left-hander.
So the intentional walk to Shelley Duncan puts him on base for the 3rd time today. And now Crowe will come trotting in, and here comes Rick Knapp again. And here are the splits on Mr. Crowe. Trevor came into this game batting .340 with men in scoring position. Verlander started, went 6, gives way to Koch here in the 7th. James Hoey coming out to break up the confab now. We also have Austin Kearns now pinch running at first base for Shelley Duncan. So here is Crow in a 3-3 game in the bottom of the 7th. Crow was 0 for 3 in this one and 2 for 6 in the series. Had a double and a triple last night, but nothing doing today, at least so far. The 0-1. Laporta got it started with a 2-out double. Duncan was then walked intentionally. Pinch running is Kearns at first base. And the 1-1. Line drive to left field. That's a base hit. Laporta rounding third. He'll come around to score. Kearns will go to third base. The throw to second is in time for the out. So Crow is thrown out, but he singles, scores Laporta. And the Indians have taken the lead with a 2-out run here in the 7th. 4-3 Cleveland. Sports Detroit is brought to you by Gatorade. Before, during, after. Back here in Cleveland, game 1 in this doubleheader. The Indians now have taken the lead. They got 1 in the 6th to tie it up, 1 in the 7th to go ahead. And the Tigers coming to the plate now here in the 8th inning, down by a run. It'll be Damon Ordonez and Miguel Cabrera.
And Fausto still in the ball game, 116 pitches in.
I thought for certain he would be done after the last half inning. But he's back out there. The big hit was the RBI single by Trevor Crowe, and Cleveland has its first lead of the afternoon. Here is Damon to lead it off. Johnny looks at strike one right at the knees. Austin Kearns remains in the game, and he'll play in right field. And that's roped down the right field line. That is a fair ball. It's going to go to the corner. Damon is on his way to second, and the Tigers very quickly get the tying run in scoring position.
Looked like a changeup that was down that Damon was able to hook back to the pull field past the right fielder, Austin Kearns.
Johnny Damon safe at second base, safe and secure, New York Life. Well, that's a huge double. So apparently Carmona stayed out there for one batter too long, and Manny Acton now will take the baseball as the Indians go to the bullpen. So Carmona, despite all the walks today, will get a big round of applause as he steps out of the game. Wallside Windows pitching change. We'll be back. Here in the eighth inning, Tigers down by a run. They have the tying run in scoring position. Nobody out. They've got the big boppers coming up, and they'll face a new pitcher. His name is Joe Smith.
Well, he throws from down under. We saw him for just one batter in last night's game, and he walked the batter that he faced. And when you look at his numbers, he has walked quite a few this year. 11 walks for Smith in 15 and 2/3 innings. But when throwing strikes, he's tough to hit. The league hitting just .237 against.
Carmona goes 7+. He departs the scene with 6 walks, 3 strikeouts. And here comes Ordonez with the tying run at second base. Maglio swings and rolls the first pitch to third.
Wow.
Marte will throw him out, and Ordonez does not move the runner up.
Maglio gave that at bat away. And knowing what the situation is, runner on second base, less than 2 outs. Good two-seam fastball crowded Maglio, and he just didn't have a good swing at it.
So here is Cabrera. Smith came on to pitch to Cabrera last night, and he walked him, the only batter that he faced.
He might do the exact same thing here.
Well, we often talk about this piece of strategy, especially late in the game, putting the go-ahead runner on, but this guy is a little bit different in Cabrera. Missing inside, 1 ball, no strikes. Meanwhile, with Bosch due up next, Perez again is warming. Ball 2.
Miguel has done a lot of damage. 7th inning or later. 323 with 10 home runs and 27 driven in. And those numbers are usually against some of your harder throwers in the baseball. Your setup men, your closers. No match for Cabrera.
2-1.
Cabrera looks like to me that he's sitting on a breaking ball. And if Smith hangs one, he might trot around the base paths.
Another strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
A fastball well located down and away. Then he comes with a breaking ball, frisbee style, from underneath that catches the outside corner, courtesy of Fox Traps.
So from 2-0 to 2-2. And here it is. He struck him out, tips it in the glove for strike 3.
What a pitch. What a sequence of pitches, actually falling behind 2-0 and coming back to throw 3 quality pitches. The last one, a good fastball right by Miguel.
So with Bosch due up, they've got Perez, and we'll get another pitching change as they try and pitch. As the Tigers have gotten a leadoff double now with 2 outs. Damon's still standing at second base. And what else is going on around Big League Baseball? Last night, if you missed it, Benji Molina, of all guys, hit for the triple, or I should say hit for the cycle, including a triple.
How did he get that?
I saw it. He actually hit it to center field, bounced off the wall.
They didn't fall down?
And nobody fell down. And he was huffing and puffing and chugging, and he made it all the way to third.
They might have to DL him today.
Well, you know what? He came out with a bad quad. He got to third base and started stretching his quad.
I didn't mean to say that.
Kid you not.
I didn't mean to say that.
Liriano finally halted the White Sox streak, and Zambrano's completed his anger management. And he's still on the restricted list. That's what's going around the baseball in the American and National League. Some of the notes, and here's Rafael Perez.
Well, Perez's numbers really aren't that good as far as the opponent's batting average, 312 against him, but the earned run average is not really all that bad. But when he's going good, he can be tough on a left-hander. He's got a firm fastball, 91 to 93, and his curveball has been his signature pitch. It's a slider that Perez features. But if you have followed Tigers baseball since Brennan Bosch has come on the scene, you know that left-handers usually don't bother him.
First pitch outside, 1-0.
Bosch is hitting .444 against left-handed pitching, and the league average for all left-handers against left-handed pitching is .240. He is 200 points higher than the average.
Chop to the left side. Marte cuts it off and throws him out by half a step. For the Indians bullpen getting the job done again here today. Eyes on Johnny Damon's leadoff double in the top of the 8th inning, so they go to the bottom of the 8th inning, still trailing by a run. Cleveland on top 4-3. Ryan Perry is the new Tigers pitcher in this one.
Yeah, Ryan Perry comes in for his 29th appearance. Comes in 2 wins, 4 losses. Earned run average over 5, but he's got a really good arm. He throws about 94, 95 miles an hour with a good slider. And part of that Tigers bullpen that's been really good all season long.
Well, the bottom of the lineup doing the trick for the Cleveland Indians.
They did last night as well.
They did indeed, and we're getting in the act again today. Well, it's Perry's job here to keep this a 1-run game. First pitch is hit in the air off the bat of Marte to right field. Maglio with the shades down makes the play. 1 gone. Here's Jason Donald. Ryan Perry certainly will be a key figure down the stretch for the Tigers, especially with the loss of Joel Zumaya. Perry went down to the minor leagues to try and get himself straightened out. Did really well in his rookie year last year.
Perry, one of those guys we were talking about earlier that did not spend a whole lot of time in the minor leagues. Just a handful of games in the minors before he made the Tigers opening day roster last year.
0-2. Bicep tendonitis sidelined him in June. And misses away. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, the other Perez, Chris Perez, who will be closing games now that Kerry Wood was placed on the disabled list, he's starting to heat up.
He has closed some games for them this year when Wood was not available.
Meanwhile, Perry strikes out Donald looking. 2 gone.
A reminder that game 2 of our doubleheader is coming up this evening. Coverage begins at 6:30 with Tigers Live, followed by the game at 7. Tigers baseball presented by Bell Tire this evening on Fox Sports Detroit and Fox Sports Detroit HD. The return of Rick Porcello.
Hopefully that'll be fun to watch. Porcello at 4-7. Strike 1 on Brantley. 6 Tigers hits in this game. They have not scored since putting up 3 in the very first inning, and it looked like they were going to jump all over the Indians today. But the scoring stopped there.
Yep, Carmona was kind of wild. Walked 6. But his defenders played a dazzling game behind him. Without all the, I'm talking about great plays they made. And this is a much different ball game right now.
No question.
Not just good plays, they made great plays behind him today.
I'm not sure which one was the biggest, but that double play that Marte turned early in the game against Cabrera, that was back in the 3rd inning. The Tigers had gotten a couple of leadoff walks in that frame. Carmona was really struggling with his command, and then Cabrera just whistled one to third base. That was all of a sudden a double play ball.
That was a big one.
Defensive swing there by Brantley. 0-2 the count. Michael's been on base 3 times in this one, 2 singles and a walk. Here's the 0-2, and that one gets away from Avila. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Tigers will have Guillen, Inge, and Avila coming up in the 9th inning. They are due. And hopefully the deficit will be just 1. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Toward left field, slicing. Bosch runs out of real estate. Perry came on here in the 8th. He got the fly ball from Marte. He struck out Donald. Ryan taking over for Phil Koch, who allowed the go-ahead run in the 7th inning on a single by Trevor Crowe with 2 outs. And again, the 1-2. Line drive caught right at Brandon Inge. 1-2-3 inning for Perry. We will go to the 9th. Tigers need a run, and you're watching Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by Bell. You can see the score is 4-3 in favor of the Indians. 4 runs on 8 hits for Cleveland. Tigers 3 runs, 6 hits. And the Tigers now will face the closer for the Cleveland Indians. Chris Perez is on.
Well, he's a closer in waiting when Wood decides to retire or whether Wood gets traded or not. And he has 7 saves this year. Kerry Wood has 8. And they are the only 2 pitchers, the only team, I should say, in the major leagues that have 2 or more pitchers with 7 or more saves. He's got lights out stuff, but he will get a little wild on occasion, will Perez.
So Perez getting ready to go to work here, trying to protect a 1-run lead as the Tigers bat. It'll be Carlos Guillen to lead it off here in the 9th inning. Guillen, Inge, and Avila due up. Swing and a miss. 0-1 on Carlos.
With high-octane gas at 96 miles an hour. Up in the strike zone to Carlos. It's tough to handle that pitch above the belt buckle when the guy's throwing as hard as Perez is throwing.
Yanked foul. Turned down that pitch. And the count is 0-2. Kerry Wood placed on the DL. Jensen Lewis was called up today. And so Perez getting the save chance here. Wood had a blister problem there. Certainly looking to deal him, but can't do that when he's on the DL. The 0-2 is slapped toward left field and caught by Trevor Crowe. 1 gone.
Their best 3 position players are probably on the disabled list in Sizemore and Chu and Cabrera. Sizemore is done for the season, but they will get Chu and Cabrera back shortly. And you mentioned Kerry Wood going on the disabled list today.
Brandon Inge cuts and misses 0-1. RBI single in that 3-run first for the Tigers.
that's why more and more organizations are trying to groom closers within their minor league system, because when you go out on the free agent market, as they did a couple of years ago, and you bring in Wood, who hasn't pitched all that well in the Cleveland uniform, but you flip the script to the Tigers, and Valverde, giving him a 2-year deal, he has been one of the best in top closers in all of baseball.
Valverde has been awesome. An all-star. Here's the 2-1. 2-2 on Brandon Inge. Tigers need a base runner here. Detroit has stranded 5 in this game. Cleveland has left a total of 9. And they had a whole lot of success against Perez, 0 for 6. And the 2-2. High, 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Perez is more of a thrower right now. He's got a real good arm, but he just kind of slings it up there in the area of home plate. And because the velocity is in the mid to upper 90s, he can throw it by some guys, but as I said, he can get wild too.
And there he goes with a walk. Tying run is on. So Inge draws the 1-out base on balls. Seven walks today for Cleveland pitching. To this point, 2 of them have scored. Here's Avila. Ball 1.
Well, if you're Alex, you know you're going to get a good fastball. And the key for you is to just think it's going to be a strike. If it's not right down the middle, that doesn't mean you can't hit it. Ooh.
2-0.
Can't hit that one.
Down with a tree trunk. Now time is called, and we'll get a meeting on the mound here. As Tim Belcher comes out, their pitching coach.
Earlier, it was Manny Acta that made a trip out to the mound. That was early in this game when Carmona was struggling with his control.
Indians got Perez in the Mark DeRosa deal with the St. Louis Cardinals. 27 saves 1 year in the minor leagues for the Cardinals.
Last couple of years, they've traded away guys like DeRosa, Blake, CeCe, Cliff Lee, Victor Martinez, and they've gotten a lot of prospects back in return. But man, they give up some good players.
That's a really deep list of names that you just mentioned.
And really, you can't get those kinds of players back. I mean, guys that are winning Cy Youngs and switch hitting catchers that are making all-star teams and hitting 300. But it's a small market team. They couldn't afford those guys.
The 2-1. 3-1 on Alex Avila. Tying run at first base. Santiago waiting on deck. Manny Acta to this point has had some really good work out of his bullpen in this series. There's another wave and a miss.
Well located fastball by Perez, down and away with good velocity.
Three and 2 on Alex Avila, and the runner goes. Swing and a miss, throw down to second, and not in time. Inge is in there. Woo. That could have ended the ball game.
Well, apparently Jim felt like even if Avila struck out here with the jump that Inge was going to get against Perez, he was going to be safe, even with the very strong throwing arm there of Santana. Just about every throw Santana's made down to second base has been to the second base side of the bag, which gives you an indication of a young catcher that's probably rushing a little bit.
So the tying run now is at second base, 2 gone, and here is Santiago. And there's John Adams looking for the final out, and there's strike 1. A crowd of better than 20,000 for the day game today.
If Santiago is able to get a base hit, it's going to be awfully tough for Gene Lamont to send Brandon Inge home as shallow as their outfielders are playing.
Now it's 0-2. Has a little bit more company out there tonight. Yesterday there was nobody sitting around him. 0-2 on Santiago. Here it is. He missed the outside corner. Santiago still alive.
Santiago, one of those guys that kind of scares you. As Fox Tracks tells us, that this ball was clearly outside. Guys that throw hard, they don't like to see the table setters coming to the plate. Guys that put the ball in play. Guys that don't strike out that often.
In the air, left field should do it. Crow is there, and the Indians have won the first 2 games in the series. The Tigers get the tying run to second base, but Chris Perez puts the save onto his statistics, and there's your final score. Back with more in a moment.